economies and also the whole region in the Gulf. Dr. Mahdi, I hope you have also watched the report with us. Dr. Mahdi, I hope you have also watched the report with us.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Thank you. I would like to ask you, how do you think the GCC common market is going to be interpreted, or let's say that what do you think are going to be the first steps that the common man or the common people are going to see in their individual countries in the 6 member states?
It is interesting. The survey or the report highlighted something about freedom of access to education systems in the different member states in the GCC. And this is only the tip of the iceberg in terms of the expectations of the GCC nationals. The general feeling, I must say, for such a group that has been, now it's more than 20 some years, meetings, summit meetings, etc. The expectations are quite high by the general public. The general consensus maybe has been among the public few years ago that not sufficient has been achieved from these meetings, especially in the economic front. Now it's really fresh air to see the Doha round and the recommendations that came out of there and the political will. I think there are a lot of opportunities while we're talking about mainly economic and investment opportunities, but once you remove barriers to or movement of people among the countries and you streamline that, I think the possibilities are unlimited. There will be cooperation excuse me, spilling over to many other fields, including education, including health, including many other sectors that it's hard to say at this point. But I think there is a lot to be gained by all members.
Thank you very much. Dr. Aluwaisheg, my question is, when we have a common market as a reality, how are each individual economy in the member states still function under this umbrella? And I mean, in other words, will there be a possibility for each individual economy in the member states to continue to function along its way, or will all the economies merge under the umbrella of this common market?
I think the fundamentals of each country's economy will remain the same. What will change is that the freedom of movement of persons and businesses will enhance competitiveness between member states, so that if there are opportunities in one member state, you will see that businesses will move there, investment will move there, and that in itself, I think, will create an atmosphere of competitiveness for the GCC economy as a whole. And I think it's going to affect different sectors differently. I think for the average citizen, there are things that directly affect the citizens, such as the educational opportunities, health opportunities, the right to move, the right to reside in any country, the right to be employed, the right to own property. Okay? All of these are going to affect average citizens. And then businesses will, in addition to that, obviously, they're going also to take advantage of the provision that allows them to establish businesses, to establish branches anywhere without a requirement, as was in the past, of a local partner or a requirement they have to reside in a particular country. They can exercise their activities as if they were in their own country. If you have a business in Riyadh, you can establish a branch in Jeddah or in Dammam without having to
You're talking about the GCC citizens.
Right. All GCC nationals, right. And that includes companies and businesses. So if a company is considered a GCC company, then it also enjoys national treatment. So businesses are going to take advantage of that. They're going to take advantage of equal treatment regarding taxes. They're going to take advantage of the enhanced or increased market size, so that a Qatari company or a Bahraini company can locate its businesses, its different processes anywhere in the GCC.
Right.
And can export from any port.
That's
and
excellent.
they can look at the GCC as a whole. And then I'll come to the final one, which is how it's going to affect the economy as a whole. Obviously, through this specialization it allows for specialization. It allows for choosing the right locations for different processes. That in itself is going to increase economies of scale, is going to increase competitiveness, it's going to improve distribution.
Excellent. Now, all the talk that we have been conducting now, and all the reference has been to the GCC citizens, and these are the people who are the main target of the common market. Right. However, what does the common market also mean to the residents? I mean, there is a huge amount of foreign labor which is there in all the GCC countries. Now, how is foreign labor going to be affected or by the common market?
I think there are two ways of looking at it. Obviously, the common market is directed primarily to GCC nationals, whether they're private citizens or companies. And so there are two ways where non-nationals are going to be affected by it. One, if they work for a GCC company. Obviously, the GCC company doesn't have to be 100% owned by GCC nationals. So if they're co-partners, co-owners of a GCC national company, they're going to be affected. If they're employees of these companies with expanded opportunities, they're going to benefit. So that's one thing. The other thing is ways to facilitate movement by non-GCC nationals, especially those who work as representatives of companies, directors of companies, marketing executives, investors, and so. There is a parallel effort, not part of the common market per se, but it's an ongoing process under the auspices of the Ministers of Interior Committee, which is a ministerial committee that works within the GCC to try to facilitate their movement. There was a decision taken by the summit in Kuwait 3 years ago that set some rules that to help non-GCC nationals who work as in the professions I mentioned, in addition to domestic workers, to help them move throughout the GCC with not with complete freedom, but with less restrictions than used to be the case.
Right. Thank you very much. We're also joined on the telephone by Dr. Fahad Al Sultan. Dr. Fahad, thank you for joining us.
Hello there, yes.
Thank you. Dr. Fahad, what is your perspective regarding the launch of the common market within the next few weeks?
I'm sorry, I did not get you.
My question is, how do you see the launching of the common market coming very shortly after a matter of weeks in 2008?
Well, it seems to me that it's going to be a major driver for the regional economies in a way that it should provide a big marketplace for the private sector. Indeed, in a way that it will promote the intra-trade among the GCC states, and it will facilitate, the common market will facilitate the mutual investment as well as the intra-trade between the different states. What's needed, indeed, is just to develop a regional industrial strategy. If we do so, I think we will end up with a complementarity of the economies among the different states. I think the major step now is to go for the implementation, and this is the major driver for the decision that has been made by the summit. Not only, the trend is not enough for the promotion of the local economies and the regional economies as a whole. What's needed is just to go into a more practical orientation of the decision. I think the ball is in the court of the executives now, who can also pave the way for the business communities in the GCC states to do their own business within each other. I think Also, someone can argue that this will result in more merging and acquisitions between the producers.
Right. Since you're talking about mergers and acquisitions, is there anything coming along the way? In other words, 2008 is a matter of weeks, and then does that mean when 2008 comes and then the common market is a fact and it's something that people here start to live with, does that going to witness, for example, a certain merger or a certain new rule or something new coming up in the local markets?
Well, yes, this is our expectation. I think business communities among the GCC states have been looking forward for such a major decision. I think now the ball is in their court. They are expected to go on and optimize the rate of return out of such decision. I believe that a major result might not be seen for the short run, but I'm not expecting major results within a few weeks or so. You know, the economic trends and policies take place usually within more than a period of weeks or months. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I think people here and there, businessmen, read the trend exactly and know how to go on. The decision has already paved the way for them, providing a big marketplace, providing a complementarity of economies, providing them with easy access here and there, and I think there is no major, let's say, roadblocks or something like that can prevent them from doing so. Right. What's needed, as I have already mentioned, is to go on for complementarity of economies, and this needs those public sectors who are in charge of developing a regional strategic planning, mm-hmm. such as regional industrial strategy, should go on for this matter and form a strategy that can move us from competitive business sectors within each other to a complementarity marketplace.
Thank you very much, Dr. Al-Sultan. Thank you very much for being with us. Dr. Aluwaisheg, do you have any comments regarding the points that have been mentioned by Dr. Fahd?
Very eloquently expressed the opportunities that the common market provides for businesses. Mm-hmm. He also pointed out to the implementation, and I think that's worth talking about for a few minutes. The implementation of the common market as we see it takes place on three different levels. One is the completing the GCC legislation, completing the legislative structure at the GCC level, at the regional level. And that's by and large complete. It was completed in Doha last week.
Great.
So this is the first step. And then, as I said, it takes, according to the economic agreement, the main treaty between member states, that GCC legislation takes primacy over national law. However, you also need to enable that GCC legislation through national legal instruments. They don't have to go through Parliament. They could go through the Council of Ministers, or they could go through ministerial order, which sometimes takes place. Mm-hmm. So the second level is national law, and that's mostly completed. Is not all complete, but that's a process that may take a few months to complete. It is complete in most of the activities I mentioned, but for some of the activities that were just agreed upon in Doha, it may take a few weeks or a few months. Right. And then the third level of implementation, which is, I think, what Dr. Fahd was talking about, which is the actual day-to-day execution of those legal instruments. In other words, the common